Okay, good evening everybody. Welcome to the ordinary meeting of the Town Council's Planning and Transportation Committee. The meeting will be held under the regulations allowing local authorities to meet remotely using technology. It is being streamed live and is available to view on our website. I will now ask the Assistant Town Clerk to carry out a roll call of all councillors and ask you to confirm that you are present.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Buckland, no reply. Councillor Chase,
Present.
Councillor Long,
Present.
Councillor Rhodes,
Present.
Councillor Tandy,
Present.
Councillor Turner,
Present.
and Councillor Malloy, Deputy Mayor, is joining us this evening ex officio.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So on to the agenda. Item 1 is mobile phones. So if members can please remember to switch their mobile, please. Item 2 is apologies, and I'll ask the Assistant Town Clerk to read out the names of any councillors who have sent apologies.
There are none, Chair.
Thank you. Item 3 is declarations of interest. So the standing declarations on the agenda are noted. Members and officers are reminded to make any other declarations as they become apparent at the appropriate time during the meeting or at the beginning now. Are there any declarations to be made?
Only as a local resident for one particular application. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, we'll pick that up as we get to it. Links to declarations. I will just take this opportunity to remind members that we have entered the pre-election purdah period, and so if we get into anything too political and I rule it too far, we will have to stop or we will move on. Just bear that in mind, please. Item 4 is the minutes of the meeting held on the 1st of March 2021. These have been circulated and they form pages 4 to 9 of the agenda pack. Can I ask that everyone is agreed that they be signed?
Agreed.
Yes, agreed.
Thank you. So arrangements will be made to obviously sign those formally as and when circumstances allow. Item 5 is Chair's report and urgent items. I'll ask the Town Clerk, the Assistant Town Clerk, to confirm if there are any urgent items.
There are none, Chair.
Thank you. And there is no Chair's report. Item 6 is the public forum. In accordance with the remote meetings protocol, which has been introduced by the Town Council, any member of the public wishing to address the Council or any of its committees during remote meetings should have emailed their submission to us a clear day before the meeting. I will hand over to the Assistant Town Clerk because I believe there is one.
Thank you, Chair. There is one representation for the committee this evening, and that's from Ms Lynch, a resident in the area. And she writes, in preparation for the Planning and Transportation Committee meeting, I'm forwarding to you details of a petition with 373 signatories opposing the speed limit of the Fitz Link Road. Currently, the speed limit is set to be 40 miles an hour when the road opens, and we believe for the safety of the hundreds of children that will be walking up and down that road on a daily basis, it should be reduced to 30 miles an hour. The petition reads, West Sussex County Council and Highways have increased the speed limit on the Fitz Link Road to 40 from 30 miles per hour before the road is even finished. This road runs alongside the biggest school in the town and is in a residential area and is just approximately half a mile long alongside the newly refurbished play park at Rosemead. This is an accident waiting to happen. There will be hundreds of children walking and cycling up and down this road on a daily basis. How can 40 miles an hour be safe for these children? Another of the consequences of the new speed limit is that behind residents' houses will now sit a 3.5 metre high steel fence at a maximum of 1.5 metres from the residents' boundary lines, causing no end of distress for residents on Highdown Drive. She therefore asks and seeks the support of the committee to secure a 30 mile an hour speed limit on the Fitz Link Road. That's the representation. In response, we would say, obviously, thank you to Ms Lynch for her statement, which will be considered by the committee at the appropriate point on the agenda, Chair.
Thank you very much. And that appropriate point is 8.1. So members will discuss the way forward on 8.1 as we get to it. OK, so we move to item 7, which is planning and other Arran District Council matters. And I will hand over to the Assistant Town Clerk to take us through the applications at 7.1.
Thank you, Chair. OK, members, starting at page 10 in your papers this evening. The first planning application is a reference LU 5621HH, and that is at 8 West Head, and that's a rear extension on the ground floor only of the property. Unless I state otherwise, there aren't any comments on the portal, and that's the case with this one. If members have any comments, hand it back to you, Chair.
Thank you. So, as always, members with any comments to make, just put Q in the box and I will come to you as quickly as I can. On the count there are none and no one is typing, I will take the silence that there is no objection to the application.
Correct.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Agreed.
Thank you, everyone. That's no objection on the first one.
Thank you, Chair. Next application on your list is reference LU 5721HH, and again that's a single-storey rear and side extension at 32 Bell Davis Road. Again, no comments there, Chair.
Thank you, and no members wish to speak, and there is no one typing. So unless anyone shouts now, I'm going to take it as no objection.
No objection, Chair.
No, happy to agree with that.
Thank you, Chair.
Wonderful.
Objection.
Okay, the next application on your list, members, is a reference LU 5221HH, and this is 18A River Road. This particular application is seeking approval for internal changes to create additional bedroom with no changes to the elevations of the property. This is to increase living accommodation there. There are some representations already on the portal expressing objections to the application, and members will probably recall the previous applications on this site. The objections are not dissimilar. Open up to members for comments, Chair.
Okay, we begin with Councillor Turner, please.
I have to say I'm very much against this. I've read through the objections that have been placed, and it seems to me that this isn't actually following what they're required to do. They're not. They haven't initiated any of the recommendations that were initially put forward, and there are a number of complaints, and this seems to be an Airbnb property that's being let out and not actually for family. So I would be very much against this. Thank you.
Thank you, and then we go to Councillor Long, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I entirely agree with what Councillor Turner has already said. Obviously, the neighbours are becoming more and more frustrated by what appears to be flaunting of the permissions that have been given and the conditions imposed. You know, when it's evidenced by having multiple doorbells on the front door and key safes, it to me seems a bit of a clue that they're not actually doing what they are purporting to do, and certainly not taking any notice of conditions that the planning authority have actually placed upon them. So I'm not sure what grounds we can use to object to this, but I would be very loath to support this application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No one else wishes to speak, and so we need to move to an agreement. If a member wishes to propose an objection, we can hear it with a reason that is linked to planning.
Parking. They keep using car parking space, and that puts additional pressure on an already very busy area. So can we align it with that?
Can it be that they're not complying with conditions of previous approvals?
If I may, Chair.
Can that be a legitimate objection?
I was looking hopefully at the assistant town clerk who is jumping in. Thank you.
In terms of enforcement, that's a separate issue. They're not planning arguments in the sense of the application we've got before you. If members are dissatisfied in terms of the parking and that there is still insufficient there, an adverse impact on the residential amenity is the best I could suggest. And we could also add a comment there that you had concerns about what appeared to be flouting previous conditions.
I'd be happy to support that.
Okay, so we're going for general assent. This is an objection on the grounds of parking and with a reference to members not being happy about the apparent flouting of previous conditions. Is there general assent for that, please?
Yes, absolutely.
I agree with that, but is there any way we can make it stronger?
With respect, we are objecting, Chair. There is nothing else that we could do.
Indeed. So we have, we've got parking and we'll put the comment in about that, but I think from my point of view, that's all I can find planning wise, okay, unless anyone wishes to very, very quickly suggest that now.
I understand, thank you. I agree with the proposal.
Okay, so I've heard enough people agree that I'm happy to take that as general assent for an objection.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you.
The next application on your list, members, is reference LU 5921 PL, and this relates to a condition imposed regarding additional residences being created at the Director's Cottage site in Toddington Lane. So there are additional 5 properties going in there, as you can see from the screen, and all the applicants are asking is a variation on one of the conditions, which regards the implementation of a drainage system, the SUDS there. They want to get working on it straight away, and it's a question of phasing really of this work. They are progressing with it, they just want to be able to do it sooner, and in doing so the system will still be in place prior to occupation of the properties there. Open up to members, Chair, for questions.
All right, thank you. Any member wish to speak or comment? Oh, I was about to say no one, but someone has. Councillor Long, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm not a drainage expert by any means, but what they're proposing does seem sound, so I would be happy to accept it. Thank you.
Quite. Is that everyone's general assent?
Agreed.
No problem.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Going on to page 11 of your papers, members, and the next planning application is a reference LU 5821 PL. And this is land adjacent to Toddington Lane at Farm Cottages. And this is an application to build two properties there, 2 3-bedroom houses in a semi-detached format. There are comments on the website from West Sussex Highways and Environmental Health, both of whom have made advisory comments suggesting conditions should the application be approved.
Okay, so I have a couple of people. So we'll start with Councillor Long first, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm never sure of what formula or what thinking the County Council Highways Department use when determining how many parking spaces are sufficient. They are suggesting, or happy to accept, that 5 parking spaces will be sufficient for 2 3-bedroomed houses, where you could end up with anything up to 10, I would have thought, over the years. I mean, other than that, it's not too bad, but the parking, it's just going to put pressure on other areas locally, and that's always a concern for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then we go to Councillor Turner, please.
Thank you, Chair. I want to ask about the condition that's been placed on them about the hedgerows between March and September. So they're not to be able to remove these hedgerows during March to September. And as we're now in March, how are they going to comply with this consent that we give them? So I was just a bit concerned about that they actually comply with that condition. Thank you.
If I may, Chair, on both points.
Of course.
First of all, I don't have the parking calculator with me, but it's the District Council as the local planning authority. It's their guidance in terms of the number of parking spaces that should be applied. And I believe the West Sussex response does refer to that fact. Secondly, regarding the hedgerows, once works commence, they're subject to building control and potentially enforcement. So they would monitor the works as they progress on the site. And that's how they would check that conditions are being adhered to.
Thank you, Julie.
Okay, so there is one question on parking, and I'm open to the committee to decide whether they think that is sufficient to object or whether we are going with no objection.
No objection from me, Chair.
I think it's just acceptance from me.
Oh, it's only me then. I do feel strongly about the parking, but if not others won't support, then not to worry.
It's not that, Jill. It's the fact that it won't make any difference. They don't take any notice when we say about parking.
Well, unless we keep on about it, nothing will ever happen. But as I say, if it's just me, well, okay. But I hate just rolling over and giving up. And that's what I feel we might be doing. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll take. I'm sensing a general assent, if rather, I won't say reluctantly, but perhaps not fully. But a no objection is appearing to be the way we're going.
Unfortunately so.
I've not had any dissent, so we'll go with no objection, I think, on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. That's noted. Next application on your list, members, is a reference LU 5121, and that is at 12 Challen Vale. This is on the Kingley Gate development, and this is again for a single-storey rear extension to the property.
Thank you. Any members wish to speak? Yes, Councillor Rhodes.
Hello, sorry, I just need to mention that I do actually live on Kingley Gate itself.
That's fine. That's noted, Chair.
Perfect.
So personal interest.
Thank you. That's noted. There is no one else wishing to speak, so I will take the silence as there is no objection to the application.
Correct.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Next on your list, members, is reference LU 4621HH, and this is at 38 Lyminster Road, and this is again an extension to the side and rear with alterations to the front of the property to create an increase in living space. Open it up for comments, Chair.
Thank you. So again, I can't see anyone wanting in. It's very big plot. That's all I was going to say. But Councillor Long has asked to speak.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, it was quite interesting to look at this one. It's effectively creating self-contained accommodation, bedroom, lounge, kitchen, family room, having a separate entrance. But was it just me, or could I not see a bathroom and loo in that section? Have I missed something?
There we go. You've got new kitchen come family room.
Yeah.
Garage, kitchen, dining.
So you've got a new lounge, you've got a bedroom, but I couldn't see a bathroom.
I can't see one either.
It's only that floor that you've got, I think, isn't it?
I think it's only a single-storey extension,
Yes,
so I suspect.
yeah. So they're only showing you the floor that's going to be worked. Yeah.
I think I was just concerned that if it's sort of self-contained and it does have its own entrance, why would it not have a bathroom and loo as well? It's got a bedroom, it's got a lounge, kitchen and family area. Not sure. Thank you.
That's interesting. I hadn't noticed that. Is a bathroom a requirement for these extensions? I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
No.
Neither do I, Chair. They're showing basic plans is all I would say.
Yeah. I don't think bathroom would be a requirement.
No,
There's already one in the house. The Deputy Mayor.
Hello. I think I sort of see what Jill means. So they've put a new kitchen in almost but they've left the old kitchen there. So it looks like it's going to be a completely separate residence, but without a bathroom. If they'd taken perhaps they've just forgotten to take the old kitchen off the plans and put what they're doing in it. But I don't know why they'd need two kitchens unless they are having that as a completely separate annex. Does that make sense? I don't know why they'd want to if they're just having it.
There's two kitchens and two lounges.
Yeah.
Emily, are you able to show the planning application, please? Just it occurs to me that if we scroll down, it might give some indication on changes to the living space.
I think they're happy to share the bathroom, but not the kitchen.
Yeah, to form an additional living area for relatives.
Yes.
So yeah, it sounds like they're going to share a bathroom, but they're going to have separate kitchens.
Yeah. Could you scroll down a little bit further, Em? Thank you. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any other additional information. Sorry, yeah.
Wow.
Can we request it?
Share the bathroom, but do your own washing up.
Can we request additional information before we give consent?
Not at this stage. No, we do need to comment.
Well, my feeling is it's supposedly a self-contained, separate part of accommodation. I would certainly want to see a bathroom and a loo there, so I would object to it at this stage. Going out on a limb there.
Okay, so that's a proposal for an objection. Is that seconded?
I'll second that.
Thank you. And that means that we go to unless no one else wishes to speak, which isn't clear in the chat, so we'll go to the vote. Is there a general assent for the objection on the grounds of a lack of a bathroom?
I will support it, obviously.
Yes, me too.
Agreed.
So that is a majority, so that can be taken as general assent. Thank you. Sorry,
Chair, thank you. The next one on the agenda is a reference LU 7121, another single story side extension at 2 Meadow Way.
Thank you. Anyone wish to comment on this application? You going to Councillor Long? Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. It all looks fine, but it looks like a very long walk out of the lounge to get round into the kitchen. That was the only thing that crossed my mind. You've only got the one door that comes out into the hallway, and then you have to walk all the way around. That was all.
Okay. I'm not hearing any objections to this, so am I to take it that this is a no objection?
Correct.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. The next one on members' list is reference LU 4721, and that's at 2 Iris Close, and again a single story rear extension and garage conversion. And there is a drive at the front of the property. Open it up to members, Chair.
Thank you. And the comment that there is a drive solves the only thing I was going to say. Anybody else?
Sorry, Freddie, that all broke up. I didn't hear any of that.
We were just saying that there is a drive at the front to compensate for the garage.
Thank you.
I've got Councillor Long is typing. I don't know if that's a sign that she might. Oh no, she stopped typing now. Right, I'm going on the cat. There's no one asking to speak. Is this no objection?
Too late. I put a Q.
It hasn't come through. That's bizarre. Go on then, Councillor Long.
Only very quickly that yes, although they're losing the garage, one suspects they're not using it as a garage anyway. And yes, there is space in the front on the driveway for, they're saying sort of 2 to 3 cars, but I think this is the one when I looked on Google Earth, there's certainly space for 2 on the driveway, and then there was a gravelled area next to it as well. So yeah, it looked fine to me.
Thank you. So is the general assent no object? Oh, that was Councillor Long's cue coming through there. That's a bit late now. Is the committee happy with no objection?
No objection, Chair.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you.
Thank you, that's noted, Chair. On to page 12 of your agenda, members, and that is 13 South Terrace, reference LU 6221, where the applicants are wishing to do a significant amount of work to the property to bring it back to its original look. There are details there. There aren't there are details of the renovation, but there aren't any comments as yet. Open it up to members, Chair.
Thank you. I will just put the marker down that I think this is the first time we've ever seen UPVC being replaced with sash. And for that reason alone, I think it's excellent. Councillor Long.
I absolutely agree, Chair. Yes, wooden frames. How wonderful. They're going to do a lot of work on this to simply repair and renovate the property, which I think is absolutely wonderful. They've also been taking advice from neighbours who've had similar work done, and I think there is actually another property in that same terrace that's going through a very similar restoration, and I'm perfectly happy with it as long as they adhere to whatever comments the conservation officer might come up with. I don't think there were any comments on the portal, but as long as he's happy, I would certainly be. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you. It's all very well replacing them with wooden sash windows, but I do understand that we still have to put single glazing in these sash windows, which is wrong to me. They should be allowed to put double glazed glass in the wooden sash windows, but as far as I understand, that's not possible. Well, it's possible, but it's not allowed. I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Turner, please.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Rhodes, I think they have to have secondary double glazing when it's sash windows like that, with the heritage and so on. Hopefully that it will be done in keeping, and it's wonderful to see something that's going to be going back to how it used to look. So I'm really pleased with this, and I'd like to see and hear that everything that's done inside as well complies with the heritage and listed building people. So I'm very happy with this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then very quickly back to Councillor Rhodes, please.
Sorry, I will make.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Rhodes, you're mute.
Sorry, I will keep it brief. This was my point about the not having secondary glazing. I don't think they should have to have secondary glazing. I lived in a listed building myself, and I actually moved. I sold it because it was so drafty. I had you know, visitors saying, you know, why is the wind in your house and not just outside? But some authorities do allow double glazed panels within the wooden sash windows, and we should definitely be moving towards that. We should make these beautiful old buildings more habitable. And I mean, the wooden sash windows cost a fortune, but you know, to have double glazed panels put in them would be fantastic, instead of the ugly secondary glazing that they're going to be forced to do. Okay, thank you.
I agree, Councillor Rhodes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Are we happy for no objection? I haven't heard anyone object in principle.
Very happy.
No, very happy to support this one.
Very happy to support it.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, we've got. I heard no objection and support. So would members like to guide?
No objection.
Support. Sorry, Chair.
I think it's all right. We'll just.
Which would you like, support or I'll go with either?
Let's support it.
I mean, realistically,
Support.
they make very little difference. So, right, I'll put support as general assent.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Whatever helps.
I think we'll take that as general assent as support. And then we'll move on.
Thank you, Chair. That's noted. Supported on that application. That takes us on to this supplementary list, members. And the first one on that list is reference LU 5021. And this is to provide additional 20 new beach huts on the promenade on the south of the putting green on Sea Road. There are some comments on the website already. There's one objection regarding the impact on the overall view at the front there, but I'll open out to members for comment, Chair.
Thank you. I have two members so far, so we'll start with Councillor Turner, please.
Thank you, Chair. I said earlier that I felt that one of the documents had made a comment about 50 new beach huts and not 20. And it's the one from Mr. Paul Gatland on the 22nd of February, which states that development is provision of 50 new beach huts on concrete bearers to broadly match existing. And I would be against 50. No, it's not that one.
No. Could you go to the all records, please, Em? Is it on that list, Councillor Turner?
22nd of February, sir. Mr. Gatland, there it is. Provision of 50 new beach huts. So is it 50 or is it 20?
Could we go to the application?
I think, sorry, I think what it is it.
It's been amended.
Frozen, Freddie.
Sorry, Councillor Tandy, you are breaking up.
Started at 50. That looks like because there's 20 on the portal.
Yeah, it's definitely 20 new beach huts. Yeah.
Okay.
Emily, if you could go back to the plan so that members can see where they're likely to be. Thank you.
There was another plan as well, wasn't there? That
Yes,
was
there is.
Further to the left.
Thank you. Yeah, so there are some additional ones to the existing, plus a new stretch there.
Okay. Next, I have Councillor Malloy.
Would it be possible with the new stretch of beach huts that they've got there on the end that are next to the car park to ask them if they consider the possibility of making just a couple of them accessible, like wheelchair accessible? They're much closer to the car park and they could possibly put in a big base there like they have for the tables and chairs outside the cafe. And I think it would make a really big difference to some people in our community.
Thank you. And then we go to Councillor Long.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, that's an interesting thought, Councillor Malloy. I hadn't thought of that one. I don't have any issue with these singletons being added to the existing banks of beach huts, but that furthest west one of, what is it, 9 there, I think it's kind of a step too far. You lose a lot of view with those being there, and I seem to remember similar sorts of issues quite a number of years ago now, when some of these existing ones now were being put in, that the loss of view was quite an issue. While it's not grounds for planning, I think we have to take into account, you know, the aesthetics of this is a seaside resort and people actually like to see the sea as much as they can. Not sure what we can make of it though. Thank you.
If I may, Chair, loss of views is a valid planning consideration.
Perfect. We will bear that in mind when we come to make a decision. But first, Councillor Turner, please.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with Councillor Malloy about a ramp or making them accessible for disabled at that end. And I also agree with Councillor Long about the loss of view. It's going to be very difficult because actually at that particular point, if that is at the land train turnaround, there isn't actually anything that I can't quite see where there's the loss of view there, except for people who are walking along the promenade. But then we've got the promenade that goes all the way along from the river all the way to where the land train turns. So but if we can object to it on loss of view, then we could give it a try. But I'd certainly, if we can't stop it because of loss of view, then I'd like to see some of them made disabled accessible. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we go to the Mayor, Councillor Chase, please.
Right. Yeah. I don't have any objection at all. Like everyone, like Councillor Turner said, yeah, the view is for view. It's never going to be perfect. There are beach huts there. There's probably people who already overlook the beach huts which are there now, who have lost a bit of view, but there's still plenty of coastline to view. I don't know whether it can be done, but whether we could note it, because I strongly agree with Councillor Malloy, and Councillor Turner has backed it up, whether we could put a note onto it, the assistant town clerk would know that out of a new section, that 3 of those are offered as accessible. Don't ask me how I came up with 3, but that's what I came to.
Okay, so if we deal with the substantive first, I'm hearing mostly no objection to the principle.
Correct.
Yes, I just have concerns about that bank of 9.
Okay, so if we are going on the principle of no objection, but we would like to include, this is where I will need the assistant town clerk to is we can phrase it, can we phrase it something along the lines of no objection, would like to see disabled access? Or does that need to be more?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
If you want to change from magic number, Jules, it doesn't have to be 3, but I would like a number stated, because I would not want them to put a token 1 in.
That could be a minimum 3.
Yeah, I've no idea what the rules are, Chair. If members wish to set a number, don't ask, don't get. But I don't know how far it would go.
So
certainly the comment is valid.
So 3 was proposed and Councillor Turner suggested a minimum of 3, which sounds sensible to ensure that we get some.
Yeah, that would be 33%. So
at least
percentage. Maybe that's how I came up with my 3.
Right, so the proposal is no objection, but the council would like to make it clear, or the committee would like to make it clear, that we would like to see at least 3 of the new beach huts being accessible for disabled people.
Minimum of 3.
Minimum of 3.
Thank you, Freddie. I agree.
And that would be on the new block of 9.
On the, yeah.
Actually, I think it's 10.
That's still a third as 3, so we'll stick with at least the 3.
Thank you, Chair.
Is that acceptable to everyone?
Agreed.
Agreed.
I'm still not happy about the that end block. If we could make some of those singletons wheelchair accessible, I'd be a lot happier.
Oh. Councillor Tandy, is your link live?
Okay, sorry, I was just trying to work out whether we were achieving general assent or whether a vote would be better.
Happy to call the registered chair and check members' responses.
I think
we are experiencing some technical difficulties.
Do you want to stop?
Just give me a second, please.
Yep, of course.
Okay, Juliet, you're live at the moment and that's working.
Thank you.
Let me just try Councillor Tandy. Okay, it seems to be back up and running. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. So we are going to go to a vote on the proposal.
Would you like me to call that, Chair?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Okay, so at the moment the committee is proposing there is no objection, but you would like to see accessible provision in a minimum of 3 of the proposed new huts. I'll call members' names and ask if you support or not that proposal. Councillor Chase?
Support.
Councillor Long?
Can I abstain or not support? I'm just really not happy about that large block that they're proposing. I don't have a problem with the overall proposal and about disabled access, but having that number there is a bit difficult for me. So if I say not support,
you don't support that.
No,
that's noted.
but if it goes through, then it goes through. That's fine. Thank you.
Councillor Rhodes?
No, I agree with Councillor Long. I can't support that either. Yeah, that block, it's just in the wrong place.
Thank you. Councillor Tandy?
Support.
Councillor Turner
Support.
and Councillor Malloy.
Support.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. That's 4 supports, so that'll be no objection with the request for a minimum of 3 accessible provision on the development there.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Moving on to the next application, I'll take them both together if I may. They refer to the same property as it's a listed building, so there's a planning application and listed building consent. And this is to change the use of the premises, which currently has permission for 2 holiday lets and a hairdresser. They want a change of use for the premises to make one of the flats in the premises a 4-bedroom house of multiple occupation unit, and the 2 bed sits to remain as holiday lets with hairdressing facility in there. At the moment, there is consent for the 2 holiday lets and the hairdressers only. Previous application to convert it to 3 flats was refused. There aren't any comments on the website at the moment, Chair. I'll open it up to members.
Thank you very much. Does any member wish to speak? We will begin with Councillor Long, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I don't have any particular issues with this one. The previous application wasn't approved because of the flood risk, but that was when I thought they were wanting to convert the basement into flats, which made sense to not let them have it. But now that they've changed where they're putting things, I think subject to the Conservation Officer's comments, whatever they might be, I actually don't really have a problem with it. I know it's an HMO, but it's only 4. Parking perhaps might be an issue, but I think generally it's being done quite sympathetically. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We seem to have
No
lost
other member
Councillor
wish
Tandy. Oh.
to speak.
Oh, I think
Okay.
Councillor Tandy is still there, Sophia.
No, no one else wishes to speak. So can I take that as no objection?
No objection from me, Chair.
There we go. I'll try again. Is there for this application? So no one. I'm waiting to hear. Thank you.
No objection from me.
No objection from me either.
No, no objection from me.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chair. Move on to the next application for members then, and that is at 22 Gloucester Place, reference LU 7021HH. And again, this is a ground floor rear extension. It's an end of terrace property. Hand it over to members, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Anyone wish to speak on Gloucester Place? No. So, shall I take that as no objection?
No objection, Chair.
No objection at all. Bifold doors onto the garden. Very nice, thank you.
No objection from me.
Thank you. We'll take
Thank
that as a no objection.
Next on your list, members, is reference LU 9321. This is a certificate of lawful development request at 116 Bluebell Drive, and this is for to remove a conservatory and replace it with a proper construction of conservatory cum sunroom.
Okay. Any comments or questions? No, no one is typing either. So is that no objection?
No objection, Chair.
No objection.
No objection.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
everyone.
Next one on your list again is a certificate of lawful development, and this is reference LU 8921 at 25 Amberley Close for a single-storey side extension.
No one has commented, and I was just going to make a comment about I can barely see it, but it is quite a small extension. Any comments or questions? No? Is that no objection as well?
No objection from me, Chair.
No, no objection.
No
No
objection.
objection.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
And finally on members list, Chair, is reference LU 9121, again a certificate of lawful development, and this is to create a living space from a garage. And I think there is hard standing at the front of the property to compensate for the garage. Oh. Are you able to show the plans? Thank you.
Okay. Any comments or questions? And if not, are members happy for no objection? Oh, Councillor Long.
Thank you, Chairman. Could we just see the proposed plans again? So you've got a living room with a kitchenette space at the top, all within the existing house. Okay, it's sort of self-contained, but it hasn't got a bedroom and it hasn't got a separate entrance. Okay, I don't think I have an objection with that. It just seems slightly odd, that was all. Thank you.
Councillor Long, any other comments? No, in which case, can I take there's no objection?
No objection, Chair.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you, everyone. And that concludes. We move on to report item 7.2, community infrastructure levy, pages 13 to 19, and I'll hand over to the assistant town clerk.
Thank you, Chair. Members will have read the report, so you'll be aware that the District Council has started a process with town and parish councils in connection with they drafting for themselves a plan of proposals to expend community infrastructure levy funds as and when it comes through. And they're asking town and parish councils to identify their own priorities, if you like, in connection with SIL, should it come through. Already we have sent to them details of our capital programme that we've produced as a town council, and also the list of priorities, which was recently approved by council last Thursday, so we'll update that. And our proposal is that that is submitted as the basis for our spending list, if you like, but also to ensure that all councillors have the opportunity to review this. We're proposing that it be circulated to all members outside of this meeting, and that authority be delegated to the town clerk in consultation with the mayor and chair of the Policy and Finance Committee, as it's a strategic item, to approve the town council's response to the consultation. Happy to open it up to questions, Chair.
Thank you. Any members have questions or points they would like to make? So the recommendations, therefore, are on page 14, as outlined by the assistant town clerk, which is to approve the priorities and members' and then for authorities to be delegated to the town mayor and the chair, policy and finance. Is that acceptable?
Agreed.
Happy to accept that. Yes, agreed.
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 Thank you. Then we come to 7.3, a planning application, land west of Brook Lane, south of the A259 in Angmering. I'll hand over to the assistant town clerk.
Thank you, Chair. Emily will try and get details of this up. There's a significant number of plans attached to this, and that's because it's a reserved matters application, and this relates to the site next door to the existing Aldi site on the A259 there. Just to be clear, this particular application is seeking approvals for the overall appearance, landscaping and layout of the development, so they're obviously looking to start work on it, and those are the matters that are before you today. There are a number of comments already on the website, and there are a significant number of plans, but if Emily can get to them, there is a design access statement on there, which on the pages 1 to 10, if you scroll down there, it does show the overall, there's a picture of the overall look. That's it, that's the one I'm looking for. That gives members an idea of how the site is planned at the moment. There's a couple of items that have come to the attention of various representations already, and those relate to the provision of the footpath. There's a public footpath that goes through the site at the moment, seeking some proper work in terms of maintenance and repair to that particular footpath. And members will recall that there is an access proposed over the railway line there. This application doesn't deal with that. Open it up to members for comments, Chair.
Thank you very much. So reserve matters, which is I think related to like landscaping and layout, we are going first to Councillor Long.
Thank you, Chairman. I must first declare something of an interest as being a local resident just the other side of the railway line to this proposed development. I read all the letters of objection today, and I have to admit I do agree with all of them in terms of the vehicle access. Are there too many houses for the space available? Impact on the local infrastructure. This is accessed off the 259, which is already very busy anyway. If you've got 90 dwellings, you're going to have about 360 people perhaps. And again, it's parking. You've got a care home fairly close to the railway itself, plus the footbridge. I have concerns not only about those sort of practical issues, but also if you've got a bridge over a railway, I hope they're going to enclose it, because if not, somebody will come off it onto the railway line. We've already had a suicide on that railway, this section of railway line, not too many years ago, so that's a worry. And I know some of the letters were concerned about the state of the footpath as it is at the moment, which is very poor, and whether, you know, any contributions would improve upon that, I don't know. But it's the usual things for me. It's about the cycle routes, it's about the access, the impact on the local infrastructure with this many dwellings. Are the local GP practices going to be able to accommodate that? School places and all the rest of it. And I know we're sort of beyond some of this and looking at the design, but the parking and emergency and service vehicle access, I think, is an issue, and I am worried about that footbridge. Where it's coming across, I think it comes out by the post office sorting office, which is a strange place for it to come to, but there we are. I'm going to stop there because I could go on for quite a long time otherwise as a local resident, and I don't want to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Long, and we'll go next to Councillor Turner, please.
Thank you, Chair. I agree wholeheartedly with Councillor Long. I'm concerned about the amount of traffic and parking. Where is this in relation to the planning consent that was given to Marks and Spencer's Food and the Toby Carvery? If somebody can enlighten me as to, I thought that was going to be here.
It's, if I can come in very quickly, I think it's the next block down. Yeah. From those permissions. Sorry to interrupt.
So it's between there and the Aldi. Mm. Okay, I understand now. You know, once M&S Food and the Toby start building their bit as well, the amount of traffic increase along the 259 is going to be huge. But I'm very concerned about the amount of parking available, and as well as the amount of traffic that the access from this particular site would be. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Councillor Long, please.
Sorry, Chair. One thing I forgot to say, access onto the 259 here is onto the existing dual carriageway section, which is 70 miles an hour at the moment. Whether that would need to be considered later, I don't know, but I just thought I would bring it up while I thought of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, so any other members wish to speak? There's no one typing. So we will need a steer, I think, on how members on the general principle. The general principle was already agreed, whether we like it or not. So on the specific matters of layout, landscape, and appearance. So I've heard parking.
Yeah. If I may, Councillor Tandy.
Please do.
You're correct. There's already outlined consent on this development, which will take into consideration a lot of the matters that members have already mentioned. In terms of the specific matters before you, the issues that concern members, as I have it noted, is parking provision, certainty regarding changes to the footpath to get it improved. That's as it relates to the reserved matters application, and general comments in terms of what members would like to see, including enclosed railway bridge over the railway. Still reservations about the overall impact on local infrastructure of this increased development, and a concern about the speed limit on the A259, and members would like to see that reduced as a result of the additional traffic that will be generated.
Is that acceptable as a form of words to the committee?
Yes.
Yes, I think that covers everything we've mentioned. It's just not, I don't think it's an ideal place for a care home, but as I say, I think we're beyond that stage now. So the comments we've put forward are good to me. Thank you.
That's an objection, Councillor Tandy, if members are happy, and I'll take those comments as noted.
Perfect. I will, on account no one said no, we'll take that as general consent. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, move on. Consider a request to support a reduction in the speed limit on the Fitz Road to 30 miles per hour, and this is on pages 20 and 21 of your agenda. It says on that I'm handing over to the Deputy Mayor who requested this item, so I hope she's prepared. I can speak for a bit longer, but Councillor May, you are free to.
Hello. I can imagine most of you have seen what's going on this link road anyway. The part of the road is already set at a 30-mile-an-hour limit, which is the southern part of the road, just coming up from the roundabout by the police station, going past the crossings. I was proposing that we ask or request for the whole road to be made a 30-mile-an-hour limit, as it crosses over into a 40-mile-an-hour limit just before the rear entrance to the school. On the basis of it's so much safer for the children. And I've put some facts in there for you as well. And even by the West Sussex speed limit policy, it says that roads heavily used by vulnerable users, which are our young children, should be set at a 30-mile-an-hour limit for safety. There's questions going, so I'll let you do that bit.
Thank you very much. I need to very quickly declare a personal interest as an employee of the Academy, as it runs quite close by. Right, we'll go to the Mayor, Councillor Chase, please.
Yeah, fully support this. Lifting it to a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, I just cannot work out the reasoning and rationale behind that. Sea road along the seafront is a 30. Where they get this 40 from is absolutely ridiculous, and even more ridiculous as to where the road is placed. As I said, like sea roads are 30. You're going to get more.
Mr. Mayor, can you turn your camera on, please?
Do apologise, Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, so find it absolutely ridiculous that they're doing it up and down in speed levels from 30 to 40. It's such a short stretch of road anyway, and I cannot see how on earth 30 is going to be deemed unreasonable, as in through traffic movement, etc. And with so many just as large roads in and around Littlehampton, which are set at 30, it just totally sticks out like a sore thumb and shouldn't be allowed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then Councillor Turner, please.
Thank you, Chair. I want to support Councillor Chase and Councillor Malloy on this. I think it's ridiculous that such a short space and stretch of road is switched to a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. You barely get up into top gear before you've got to change down again before you reach the roundabout that's going to be there on the 259. And to my mind, the section past the school should be 20 and not 30 anyway. But I agree with them wholeheartedly. It's a ridiculous situation. It should only be 30 miles an hour along that stretch of road at the very maximum. And I'm happy to support this wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then Councillor Long, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, 40 sounds too much. If it's reduced to 30, it will be safer for the children and any other pedestrians, dog walkers, etc. Would that speed also help to reduce the road noise for local residents? Thank you.
Can I come in, Chair?
Freddie's frozen again.
And I'm still on camera.
I can't get Councillor Tandy back on.
Okay. Would you like to try Councillor Chase as your vice chair as well as the committee? Would you like to go ahead and hopefully we can get Councillor Tandy back?
Yeah, it's just in reply to Councillor Long, the reason why the barriers were, this is what I'm led to believe, and I'm sure the assistant town clerk will put me right or wrong either way. I'm led to believe the fact is that the reason why the sound barriers are made so high is because this was upped from 30 to 40. On the original application, where it was a 30 speed limit, the barriers were only 2.5 metres and got extended to 3.5 on the account of them making it a 40 limit. So I hope that answers your question, Councillor Long. And it doesn't look like Jules is disagreeing with what I've just said, so that's okay.
I'll just come back very quickly. Thank you for that explanation. I still feel that whatever height the barriers are going to be, and that decision's already been made, as I understand it, then this will actually help as well in terms of the road noise. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Councillor Tandy's back on.
Right. So I think we are quite clearly unanimous that we want to agree that we are going to support this proposal.
Councillor Malloy has indicated she wishes to speak, Chair.
Oh, I apologise. Councillor Malloy.
Sorry, just going on from this proposal, it does look like people are going to agree, which is really great. There is provision for a primary school to go in just north of the Toddington Lane as well. And I haven't looked into the actual road going past that bit yet, but it may be worth keeping an eye out for the future, as a lot of the road is set to be a 40, just to make sure that when that is going up, that we get that looked at as well, that it's not a 40 past that school also.
Absolutely. Right, so if we are going to support the proposal, I'm looking at the clock, we're going to send a letter. Who would the letter be best to come from? The Mayor?
The Mayor and yourself as Chair of this committee, Chair, as you've heard it, and probably directed to the Cabinet Member at West Sussex County Council.
Well, that sounds like a plan. Is the committee happy that the Mayor and I write a letter to support this?
Is that on behalf of all of us?
Quickly, Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, of course you can, Mr. Mayor.
Arran District Council last Wednesday, it was agreed that all group leaders, along with the Chief Executive, would be writing as well. So, yeah, if it comes from myself and yourself, Chair, that sounds good to me. But if it could be sent off as soon as possible, that'd be great. We don't want to be too far behind our neighbours at Arran District Council.
Can it be confirmed that it is on behalf of all of us and that's a unanimous decision?
It will be in the minutes.
Thank you. But I mean in the letter, Jules?
Yes.
Thank you.
It'll have the unanimous support of the committee.
Thank you.
Right, item 9 is Master Plan North Littlehampton. 9.1, just when you thought you'd escape planning applications, LU 17820 RES Phase 2B at Hampton Park. I'll hand over to the Assistant Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. And this is a reserved matters application. Members will recall this particular site of houses. This is immediately opposite the central wetland area. We've seen it a couple of times before, and this is the District Council with a reserve matters application finalising details of the landscaping layout and proposed planting. There've also been some discussions with the planners, drainage experts, etc., in terms of the levels because of its proximity to the central wetland. Otherwise, it's fairly straightforward, and members are asked for their comments, if any, on the proposals.
Thank you. Any member wish to speak? No. Am I to take that as a no objection to these proposed changes?
Correct.
Yeah, I have no objection. As you say, we have seen this before, and yeah, I think it all looked fine. Can we turn the picture around so it's not upside down? Or is it just me? Never sure. I find these things really hard to read because the lettering is always in grey as well. But anyway, no objection.
Thank you. So I'll take that as a general assent that there is no objection to this reserve matters application.
Agreed.
Thank you very much, everyone. And then we move on to item 10, exempt business, of which there is none. And so I will close the meeting at 7:54 p.m. I support in getting this online. We've had a few hiccups. And thank the members of the press and public for their attendance. And I close the meeting at 7:55, and I just remind members to stay quiet. Streaming is confirmed.